Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday afternoon, February 4th. We are looking at the SPY ETF's market profile here on Window Trader. And all three of the indices that we follow on here hit all-time highs. Triple Qs and SPY late in the day, Russell earlier in the day, and as you can see, as SPY is trading an end period, we are making new all-time highs in the after hours once again. Let's start with the Russell. I actually made my second trade in the Russell today, and it would have been a good one except what I'm about to tell you. So Russell opens with a gap, a beautiful gap, which is great risk reward, and never looked back until G period. They do go out with two sets of single prints in C and D, and now, even though they didn't go out of price probe the way Qs and SPY do, they're hitting all-time highs in the after hours. As far as my trade today, I'll tell you that one since I won't come back to this. So didn't have a real trade to look at in SPY. So when Russell opened, I said, if I get an opportunity to buy it, I will. Now I wasn't looking at it right away. It opened and shot right up, but it did, when I looked at it again, gave an opportunity. It came right back above the open. I took 214 calls and they went right back up. But what was the problem? I took them off, and I accidentally took off more than I had, and I went short. And by the time I realized it, I gave away most of my gains in it and ended up making $11 in it. I probably gave away at least, because I couldn't understand why my profit was going away as it was going up, and I thought I was out of the trade. And I was probably up at least $300, if not more. And by the time I realized it and closed out the short, I made $11. So it was a good trade I took in IWM, but I broke even on it because I unfortunately sold more than I was long and went short. But I had nailed it on the head. But anyway, look what they're doing, exploding to highs in the after hours. Triple Q, far different story. They opened imbalance in value. They went 5 for 5 wide. They couldn't get out of their own way. In fact, they almost took out yesterday's low, but they defended it, held the one-time framing up, and then finally, when they took out A's high, that's where change took place, and they hold a set of single prints in H. Sort of like us, but I'll get to us in a minute. We don't hold any single prints. They hold the trend day, and they go out with a huge price probe above L's high, and now are trading even higher in the after hours, although they have not hit January 26th overnight all-time high just yet. But one-time framing up with a trend day up. SPY and ES. SPY opens, basically drives straight up. Now again, I didn't do anything in A, and that's why I went to Russell and took that trade. I had a decent day. I was in a short, literally from H till M, that I basically made pennies on. I'll go over that in a minute. The rest of the day, I had a good day. I did nothing in A. I took the long in B. We took out the day's high. Okay, now we did come back and forth through yesterday's high a bunch of times in A, B, and C, but then once we never saw it again, that was a good guide. But we did have an attempt at a trend day 3 times and failed on all of them. B period, I took a long. I traded tomorrow's expiration, 382 calls. That turned out to be a nice trade. I did again in C on the 383 calls. When we didn't hold the single prints, we came back into A's range, took them, defend the one-time framing, and went back up and took them off. Incredibly, my first 4 trades of the day were longs in SPY. I did that again in D period with the 383 calls, looking to get the POC from the 26th, which we did. So again, all 3 of my longs worked out. Then we kept making new highs, but couldn't hold single prints. So F, I faded it, made money on the 386 puts. Now H's trade. I did the same thing that I did in F. However, actually, you know what? Before I get to that, after my long in D, which I did well on, I actually faded it again. I took a short in D, the 386s. So I faded D after my long worked out for a nice trade, and I faded F. I tried the same thing in H. It did not come in right away, but it didn't run away on me. From where I sold it to J's high, I might have been out, I don't know, 15, 20 cents on the option. I actually took a 10 lot, added a 10 lot in I, and then I started scalping them. It came in, took it off, went back up. I put them back on. I held that trade for 2 hours. I ended up on an L period. I still had 30 of them. It came in. I did okay on them. I held 10. I thought maybe M takes out L's low and we get the flush I'm looking for, like the last 7 days. Didn't happen. I took the last ones off when M took out L's high the first time. I lost small on those. All in all, I mean, I made some money on the trade, but not a lot because they kept decaying. Even though they expired tomorrow, there was some decay to them. So I basically broke even. I think I made pennies on the trade overall. And that's it. When M finally popped the top, I did not want to play. I was like, let me just watch this. Had an okay day. I'm going to hold it. Okay. Destinations for tomorrow. Upside. What's today's high? I didn't even write it down. I apologize. 386.24. So right now, 386.24 is today's high and all-time high. We have a new all-time high in the after hours. I don't know what it is. So tomorrow morning's video, depending on what it ends up being by 8 o'clock, I'll put it in. But right now, the all-time high is today in the regular trading hours and in the overnight so far. Now, downside destinations get interesting again. We don't have anything till K's high. That's the price probe, which is 385.46. Right now we're trading about $1 above it. Now I'm using L, since we didn't hold any single prints, I'm going to use L as the afternoon pullback since M didn't take it out. I don't like to do that, but I'm going to. That's 384.97. And then we don't have anything below that to today's low of 382.78. And then yesterday's low of 380.48. And then we have the other daily low in the gap below. Now, let's go to the charts. Tomorrow I'll recap IWM, Russell, Qs, and SPY. But for today, I'm just going to do SPY, okay? Monthly. One time framing up. I will be calling 4 months after tomorrow. I want one more day under my belt for the monthly. Don't forget, we have non-farm payrolls tomorrow. Monthly is health, and the market's going home incredibly long. Monthly is very healthy. Weekly. We took out last week's high now, so the inside week is gone. Outside week down is one of the most miserable failures I've ever seen on both us and the Russell. So we're firmly in balance. 5 weeks. So far, we've stretched the balance. We'll see what happens tomorrow. If tomorrow we get really good acceleration and close above the 4-week balance, I'll call it up. If we don't and we come back in, I'll just call it balance still. For now, it's balance. And then the daily, up, one time framing up, 4 days, gap my main focus. We're actually above this 4-day balance. So the volume is horrible, 43 million right now. Yesterday we did 52, so we're going to be at best yesterday's volume with the after hours. But it is only one part of the equation. Remember, for those of you who have watched my videos for a long time, you know how important that 287 level was to me? Well, who would have thought? Here we are, $100 higher. It's going to be interesting if we get any kind of action at that 387 level the way we did at the 287 level. I hope you had a great day trading. Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. Have a great night, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.